jump into relationships because this is the BW, and you know the BW is all about not only growing as a woman, but making our relationships better, making our circles better. But if you could go back, because I heard you say that you were shy and you were timid, and even when I met you, you were shy and timid. Mm-hmm. If you could go back and talk to the younger Karen, what would you go and tell her?
I would tell her, be kind to herself. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you asked that question. You may have to cut this up into 2 videos, okay. But this is a valid point. I would tell my younger self, be kind to myself. And I tell girls that I meet, because I'm a woman and I know what a struggle it is for us, I always tell them, the time I wasted in my 20s thinking about a man, worrying about a man, chasing a man, if you go and live out loud and live your purpose and empower yourself and educate yourself, the man will come. The right man will come along eventually.
Yes. I totally.
He will find you, I promise. I got married. I've always had long relationships, and I've always stayed in relationships 5 minutes longer than I should have. Okay. You see this, and that is purely based on, you start to think, I'm never going to find anyone. Well, maybe this is it. You know, and for me, I hate change. I'm not a big dater. You know that because you're always telling me to put myself out there.
You have to put yourself out there.
Girl, you know me, honey. I don't like a man groping on me. I don't like anyone going in too fast for it. I'm a slow burn. I really am. I'm a slow burn. Don't think you're gonna meet me today and we gonna get lucky tonight. I need to get to know you. I need to know your history. I need to know your sexual things, because you ain't gonna flip me up, turn me around, and do all sorts of weird things with me. But that's just me. But I think that comes through conversation. Yeah. We need to understand each other, and if I'm not for you, I'm not for you, and that's okay. And what I find is that people tell you, and we were just having this discussion this morning, instead of people just being honest and forthright
and open,
and expressing what they want, we tend to change who we are to accommodate the other person, when truly that's not what you want, and you're not honest about that. At 30, I would have gone along to get along. At 52, no, that's not what I'm about. I am very frank and direct with what I want, but even at this stage, I still find men feel as though they have to play that game, when truly that's not what you want, and then you end up being disappointed. Yeah. You know, and you end up, at this age, I don't want to resent anyone, but if I'm not for you, then say I'm not for you. And that's okay. We could still have a great friendship. But I still find men think that if they're not sleeping with you, then they can't be your friend. And that it shouldn't be the case.
No, it shouldn't be the case. And something you said, that you are a slow burn. I think that's something that all women need to do. I know even when I look back on my life, I can look back and say in a lot of relationships that I moved too fast. I was talking to a young lady the other day, Kate. It's funny. And she came to my office, and I'm thinking she come in to talk about something dealing with school related or her grades or something like that. This was a few weeks ago. But she was saying, I'm trying to get through nursing school, Ms. Cobbs, but I just started this relationship. And she explained to me that she had already slept with the guy. And I'm like, how long have you known him? So I had to try to get out of teacher mode to older woman mode to try to minister to this young lady who was sitting in front of me. And she was honest with me. She was forthright, explained to me she had slept with the young man. So I asked her a question. I said, would you give him the password to your phone? Because she like 45 days in now. Would you give this young man the password to your phone? She's like, no, I wouldn't give him the password to my phone. I said, well, how long would it take for you to trust this young man to give him the password to your phone? She said, probably about 6 months. I said, so you mean to tell me it would take you 6 months to give him the password to your phone, but it took him less than 30 days to have the password to enter your body?
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yes. So we have to think about that.
Mm.
We have to slow it down. And we know this is going to go into part
Some
2. So I'm just going to call this part 2 of the video. So,
right. But some people meet, right? And they're able to have that first meeting. They give themselves to each other and go on to have great relationships. And we're here by no means saying, you know, everybody should do that. But if you keep having these relationships and they're ending the same way, at some point you have to stop and take stock and become self-aware. Okay, maybe I need to do something differently.
Yeah, because that's insanity. You're doing the same thing over and you expecting a different result.
Correct. And we often talk about that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that part of me is ever going to change where, you know, I meet somebody and we have this one night and then I don't see you again. I can't do that. I need to know somebody. I need to know where you live. I don't necessarily need to know where mom and daddy at, but you know, we need to hang out for a bit. I need to feel, there has to be a connection for me.
Okay.
You know, for me to feel that comfortable to then give you my energy. It's about energy and a vibe. I need to be able to vibe with you.
Yeah. And I know you have been married before.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into the topic of you being married before, and of course we're going into part 2 of this video. I'm gonna break this up into part 2.
Yeah.
But I asked a question on my BW Facebook just on yesterday. What is an important question to ask when you start dating a man? What do you think an important question would be to ask somebody when you're dating them?
At 20, you'd probably be giddy and just excited that somebody see you. Mm-hmm. At 52, it would be, are you committed? Mm-hmm. Do you want a relationship? Mm-hmm. Is this just us having fun? Mm-hmm. Are we just going to be hanging out? Are we going to be buddies? Mm-hmm. Friend buddies? Yeah. We all know what that is. Mm-hmm. Because it's okay. I think as women, we've been built to, or been told by our mothers, you know, we need to be appealing to men. But how about men being appealing to us?
Exactly.
It's okay to state what you want and what you're looking for. And if they're not there, it's okay to move on.
And I think we should find out, where do we stand. You don't want to go around assuming you're in a relationship and thinking that you just hit it and quit it type.
Correct. Girl. That and we always fall into that false sense of, oh, he sleep with me, so now he wants me. Men and women, I've come to realize, operate very differently.
Very differently.
Men can have sex and it means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It's just that they were able to nut one and move on.
Yes. But we get tired emotionally when we sleep.
Correct. And that is very true.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I have, my dog is going crazy, I'm sorry. But for me, I know there has to be a feeling of gentleness, softness, and that you somewhat care. Yeah. Or else, you know, things won't happen within me for me to even let you in.
But it's going back to that point of saying wait. Because even in the beginning, a guy could just want you for the sex, because, you know, by nature, men are just hunters. So correct. They put on the good guy, I want you, when really they don't.
Yes.
You know, and put on I want you, and they can be kind and they can be sweet. They can do the whole roses and all of that type stuff. And then after they get what they were hunting for, they just flip the script.
They're on to the next hunt.
Yeah. And they flip the script and you'd be like,
what happened?
Yeah.
But that's also because you did not have those critical conversations in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And a man that means you well and means you good will answer those questions. In fact, they won't wait for you to ask those questions. They themselves will be asking those questions.
Bingo, there you go. I didn't think about that. They would answer those questions before you even ask.
I was listening to a relationship video not too long ago, and this girl went on a date with a guy. Mm-hmm. Their very first date, they went to the equivalent of a Waffle House. Mm-hmm. And he said to her, I'm going to give you homework tonight. Mm-hmm. And he asked her 3 questions. And he said, if your answers line up to my answers, we can see where this goes.
Okay.
If it does not line up, then it was nice meeting you. We can be friends.
Okay.
And she said, homework? What?
You see how I'm over here looking homework.
And she said, no one's ever asked me that before. It's always, they're cute. And you go on a date and next thing you know. But she said, but that's the difference of when you meet someone at 40, because she's 40 at the time. Mm-hmm. They want to know who you are at 40. It's no longer about what's between your legs, but because I've always said this, you only sleep with someone for, a couple of minutes. But once we're sitting up upright, do I like the person who is in front of me? Do we line up intellectually?
Yes.
We're not going to all have the same interests, but does some of your interests line up with mine? Do you enjoy some of the things that I may introduce you to?
As well as your goals. Do your goals align with my goals?
Are you
financial goals, spiritual goals?
Correct. Are you going to be a supporter of my goals? And that I think women should understand, because as you mentioned, my first marriage, I don't think I was ready to be married, even though I got married at 30. But I was married before we got divorced. It was 12 years. But 5 minutes after we got married, I always tell people I should have been divorced. I shouldn't have been married in the first place. Mm-hmm. And I've always been very frank and open with people. When I married my husband, he had one child. Mm-hmm. When we got divorced, I don't know, he had about 2, 3, 4 kids. I don't even know. So that tells you what I was battling. Mm-hmm. And I was very open and frank with friends. I didn't hide anything. Mm-hmm. Because why should I be the only one being burdened with this? When you're to say you're pulling the plug, everyone is wondering, where did this come from? You never said anything. Because mm-hmm. that's one thing I will not tolerate is dishonesty. Infidelity, okay, you could probably get through that. But if you're having infidelity, that means you're lying. Mm-hmm. You can't get back from lies.
Yes.
And not only that, his side women were calling me. I'm not bothered, so why are you calling me? Mm-hmm. So
I remember that.
I remember one Sunday morning, one of his side women, she called me maybe 700 times. Mm-hmm. Eventually I had to turn my phone off. Mm-hmm. And we weren't even living together at that time, but I guess she couldn't find him, so she was calling me. Mm-hmm. Well, girl, if I ain't worried about where he is and I'm his wife, mm-hmm. why are you worried? That was just who he was. Yeah. And that's okay. So I had to let that go. And the thing is, my grandma, the reason why we stayed married as long as we did was because my grandma says, well, you made a vow, mm-hmm. commitment. I'm like, okay, grandma. And when she died, and I miss her dearly, soon after I filed for divorce, because that was just crazy. And once I'm finished and I'm done, I don't want to have to feel tied or connected to mm-hmm. you. Mm-hmm. So cut that off.
Yeah. Which brings me to 2 more questions. One of the questions I want you to answer is, what did you learn from being in that relationship or that marriage for 12 years? And the second question, you bring up another valid point that I hear women say all the time, especially Christian women, for better or for worse. We all want to stay in for the better part, but what about the worst part? Where do you draw the line in worse?
The first question was, what did I learn in the 12 years? Mm-hmm. Which I learned it before the 12 years. It's only 12 years because of my grandma, is that I deserve better.
Yes.
I give you me. When I give you me, you get honesty, you get compassion, you get understanding. And I've always we can talk about anything. Mm-hmm. Tell me before, even if you felt like I wasn't meeting your sexual needs. Let's talk about it. If you feel like you need to see someone else to meet all your desires, we can still have a conversation about it, because marriages are made up of many different things.
Yes.
It's not just one-sided. It's not black or white. And you're talking about two people who have their own personal inside deep issues and goals and what their needs are. And I've always said this, one person can't fulfill one person's needs.
Yes.
It's like you have your husband, but there are some things that we talk about that you know, you couldn't get that from your
I
husband.
can talk about with cause, but I can freely talk about them with you. So
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, so I always say I am that woman. But if it's after the fact and there's lies involved, that's because then so you're leaving it open for people on the street to come tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you tell me, then I can say, well, you know, that's my husband. That's, you know, that's who I chose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you're having relationships behind my back and I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're leaving harm to come to me.
Yes.
You know, someone could come and, you know, hit me upside the head and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Someone can want to fight me or shoot me in the street and I don't know why, because you're creating a story over here that I'm not aware of. I mean, how many times we see that in the news?
Yeah.
You know, the wife getting killed because of the crazy side chick.
Yes.
So it may seem simple, but it's serious for me because you know, I love the ID channel, child, and I'll be there investigating. You know, which is another reason why Fee's laughing, because it's another reason why I don't put myself out there. I don't want to invite a killer into my home. You know, you see it all the time. You got to be realistic. But
yeah. It works so much better than that, than being the side chick. And I'm saying that from a place, and I have been the side chick.
Yeah.
I didn't know my value. I didn't know my worth. I felt like I was unworthy of being the side chick. But it's something about maturing. It's something about having a relationship with Christ. It's something about learning from your past that you realize I'm not side chick material, boo.
Correct.
I'm wife material.
Correct. And
like you said, I deserve better.
I deserve better. And I've been seeing this guy, would have been 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very frank in the beginning of what I wanted and what I was looking. And I saw that wasn't happening. And I checked in about 6 months. And I'm like, listen, I'm too old for this see you every other day, every other week, once a month thing. Mm-hmm. I said, this is not what I want. Mm-hmm. So if this isn't what you want, I said, this is what I want. I said, I want to wake up with someone. I want to go on adventures with someone. Mm-hmm. I love to travel. I want to go on trips. Mm-hmm. At this age and working and making my own money, that's what I'm expecting. If this is not for you, let me know. Mm-hmm. No, this is just something, I'm going through something now. Just be patient. I'm like, okay, let's be patient. And then I started my 2-year program. And so you tend to not stress it too much because you still have work. I have schoolwork now. So you don't want to be reactionary. Yes. Because you yourself don't really now have the time to even go on these trips because your commitment is getting through school and still meeting your target at work and so on. Well, let's fast forward to now. February 26th was my last day of classes. Mm-hmm. And now you're up from the fog and you're like, wait a minute. I'm not getting what I need from this guy. Mm-hmm. And I told him, we had a conversation. I said, well, this is what I want. What we're having here is BS. Mm-hmm. Are you in this or not? He was very frank and open and honest. And he said, well, this is all I can give, Karen. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, if this is all you can give, well, this is not what I want. And I said, and that's okay. I've been telling you this for quite some time. It's okay. Mm-hmm. We can still be friends. But what you're offering is not what I want. I said, you can do better. You just don't want to. And that's okay, because when you meet the right person, mm-hmm. you want to do these things. Mm-hmm. Spending a whole day with a person is never enough. You wake up and can't wait to see them. Mm-hmm. You can't wait to do things with them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not that person for you. And that's fine. I'll just find, hopefully meet someone who wants to do those things with me. Mm-hmm.
Do you think as women, we go in trying to change men sometimes?
Some women do, but I am very clear with that because, I'm I'm very independent. I'm learning to be a little bit softer. But as women, we've been trained and built to like, okay, if he can't do it, you just go get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think I should ask you to fix this pipe over here, and 3 months later, the pipe still isn't fixed. Wherein, for me, oh, the pipe isn't fixing. Do 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 do. Yeah. I have a pipe that needs to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
How much? Okay, can you tomorrow? That's perfect.
Gotcha.
Done.
Yes.
The same thing. If you meet a man who is not that way inclined, that's okay. But you could still also go do do do. Yeah. The, my wife needs this pipe fixed, man. Can you? Okay, done.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be all that. And then they think you're nagging, and then they think you want the role of being a man. No. But if someone asks you to get something done
and you don't do it,
you don't do it,
yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You should have the same zeal to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
It's never, and whenever I get things done, it's never to say I'm swinging like I'm the guy. It's just that I've had to do things for myself for so long. Mm-hmm. I'm just used to getting it done, making a phone call, getting it done.
Mm-hmm. But even
or
though you're used to getting it done, you're still willing to slide back and let them take that man
and wait. But I can only wait so long because we work in a task-oriented job. Mm-hmm. Wherein you get a task set and you need to meet that, and you tend to bring that same personality home. Mm-hmm. In getting things done.
Yeah, and I would agree the nurses are task-oriented.